Cool. So this week, let's talk a little bit about the tooling plans and the current status of the tooling more than the plans, right? And also the plans for the announcement of the version 2. Let me just find it in this hell of tabs that I have here somewhere, and I can share it with you. Oh gosh, this is too much. Too many open tabs, sorry. Okay. So, well, overall, one of the things that I wanted to explain today is more about the current status of the tooling. And let me just I just found it. Let me share my screen. Yes, this one. Okay. So not all of you have access to this app. So whoever wants to get an invitation, I'm happy to do it. I'm actually asking AsyncAPI. This app is AsyncAPI. I'm actually asking AsyncAPI to add a feature to make this public, like to have something to make this public. This is pretty much like Trello or something like that, with reports, but it's connected to GitHub. So it's something built on top of GitHub. So whatever you do here reflects on GitHub, and the other way around too. And this is really cool because you still get GitHub updated, but you get more features, right? This is like augmenting GitHub. Well, so we have the tooling workspace here, and one of the things that we, or many things that we recently finished on the tooling is just on the parser. So we started working on the parser, which is Golang parser, as we decided. Right now we have a very minimum parser that just works without so many features. It just parses a document. It doesn't parse the messages or schemas, just the overall document. And we already more or less figured out how to generate C shared objects. So we can use it then on Node.js or Java or in any other languages. So that's the cool thing. That's why, in first place, this is why we decided to use Go, because we can compile down to C, and then we can use the C modules in any language, right? So we don't have to maintain the parser in lots of languages. That's very much the state of the tooling right now. It's just a parser. I would like to get feedback from Lucas from Kima about the component, the React component, but we will have about it. We will talk about it later, or in another day, I mean. And yeah, so is there anything that I might be assuming that you know that you don't know? Like everyone is clear what I'm talking about, because sometimes this happens that someone starts talking about something and you get like you assume many things, right? So do you all understand what I'm talking about? What piece of the tooling I'm talking about?
Well, I'm so new. I'll learn. I'll pick it up. I'm just listening today, so.
Okay, so basically, just to make it a little bit clearer, we decided to go for to create the parser first, and then we will go for code generation or documentation generation and all of that. Why? It's because all this tooling, the rest of the tooling will need from the parser, right? They will all need to parse the document. So that's why it was top priority. So that's what I'm talking about. We don't have so much yet. It's just it was mostly a prototype, and the prototype is more or less working without any fancy things, but it's there. So that's the current status of the tooling. That's not so exciting, sorry. Not so much to share here. Let me also, that's not what I want. Let me also share this with you. So yeah, so about the plans for the announcement. Well, first of all, I've been thinking about it, and I know this is getting recorded, but it's fine for people. I don't think many people watch it, so it's fine to say it here. So I wanted to make it as kind of a surprise for the people that we announced version 2 on May 20th. So why May 20th? It's because it's KubeCon Europe, right, in Barcelona. And since I'm here in Barcelona, I thought, okay, let's just take the opportunity to announce version 2 during those days. Also, I think, Scott, you're going to be here, right?
Heck yeah.
You there?
Yep.
Sorry, I couldn't listen to you. Sorry. It's just very low. Your volume is very low. I don't know why. So yeah, that was the initial idea, and still is the idea. So we can announce it. But what do we need to actually announce version 2? I came up with a list of things that we will have to solve first before we can actually announce it. So I already thanks to Solas for the donation, and thanks that we have the money from Solas right now, we can I already started asking for a new logo. So not a new logo, actually it's the same logo, but it's just with the typography a little bit refined. The new website, and so we can explain better what's in there, right? The graphics or the arts that you will need for the marketing campaign. And I'm now talking to some marketing people to help us with the marketing campaign for these days, right? But what I was saying is, in order to have it, to have a really good announcement and successful announcement, is we need to have everything ready. We need to have content ready, like tutorials, getting started guide. We need to have the editor working with version 2, all the tooling that we already have, or most of the tooling that we already have, working with version 2. And this is in 2 months. So so it was like I know it is like a lot. I'll do my best, but wanted to understand today what's the availability of everyone here, everyone who wants to contribute, and I would like to understand not just the availability, but also how many time, in what things you would like to contribute. I know, for instance, that Raisel is helping with the parser, with the tools, right? So Michael, you said you're interested in learning Go and going this way, right? Emily,
yeah, I could help with things like documentation and tutorials and things like that as well. So
okay, so that's
because I'm probably too new to go to be very productive yet for at least a month or two. So
okay, perfect. That sounds good because I think Emmelyn is the only one here that wants to work on the documentation, right? So. So yeah, it was a problem, right? I am working on everything. Like
Yes.
I'm working everywhere, like in the documentation, even designing the logo and redesigning the logo and the website and everything, right? But I wanted to know that's just my role. I understand, but not everyone wants to contribute doing everything, right? That doesn't make sense.
Yes, and Michael, I'd love to collaborate with you. I'm pretty new as well, but I have several sessions that I recorded with Fran based on feedback from the Slack channel where people had questions and wanted to see certain things on the tutorial for V1 updated. And I was actually working on that last night. And so if it's okay to meet with you, Michael,
Sure.
I'll just ping you on the Slack channel.
Okay. Yeah, sounds good.
Thanks.
Yeah, maybe if you want, something we can do is just to create a documentation Slack channel or something like that.
Oh yeah, could we?
We can coordinate there. So
okay.
I think it's we still have it public so everyone can see and join.
Yes.
At any time, right? Especially for people that are not yet involved, but might involve in the future, so they can look at the channel and see.
Yeah,
what do we?
This is Praful here, by the way. I would love
Praful.
I would love to contribute in documentation as well, because I've been talking to some customers on our site about async APIs and what they would like to see, and I think documentation is something I could immediately help with. So.
Yeah, definitely. This is something we need to improve a lot. Perfect. I would like to get feedback from you if you already did an announcement before at some point in your life, like you were working on a marketing team or even in a product team as well.
Yeah, Fran, I would love to help with the launches. So, I'll just mention again, I used to be the technical marketing director for Mauser Electronics. So anything you need, please reach out to me. Press releases, anything.
Cool. So what do you think, and what do you think about the approach of dedicating like doing a marketing campaign for 3 days, so we get more knowledge and awareness, right? We reach more, we get more awareness of AsyncAPI, because right now, the awareness, let's say that the amount of people using AsyncAPI is growing, and it's growing fast, but I would like to actually communicate to people that, hey, we're here, we're working, and this is our current status, and this is our roadmap, and you can join, right? Like let's make it happen together, right? But we have this we have this strategy versus the other one, which is a more sustainable investment in reaching people in marketing, basically in creating brand awareness, if you want. I think this is a term in marketing. So I know this is not so many people are interested in these things, but this is something to think about, because if you create something that's really cool but nobody knows about it, right? So it's not so useful, right? So what do you think of one, like Emmelyn, for instance? Given that you know about it, what do you think about one approach versus the other, or we should have both, maybe?
Yeah, so I see what you've been doing. I like the fact that you're actively and systematically creating content on Medium and promoting it on Twitter and on LinkedIn. I think you're doing a great job with your voice. And I think it would be great if the companies that are sponsoring will also, we have some coordinated marketing, and I can, put together like a small plan and put it into the Slack channel so that you guys can dive deeper into the technical stuff for the rest of the call if you want.
Cool. So that sounds that sounds good. That sounds
Yeah, I wanted to give a shout out Ingo Muschenetz. I hope I said his name right. He is a VP over Appcelerator Titanium SDK, and he's here today. So thanks.
Hi everyone. I'm a coworker with Emmelyn. So nice to join.
Nice to meet you. So yeah, that's pretty much like the latest updates. I don't know if you've seen the latest status updates that I published on the blog. If not, I can summarize quickly. Basically, we built tons of features for the next version, and we're actually just missing 2 features, which is traits and overlays, and these are the 2 main features missing for the specification yet. For those who are not familiar with traits and overlays, I recommend you have a look at the RAML traits and RAML overlays. I can send information later, or maybe Praful, you know much better about them.
No, sure. I'm happy to send links to basics of RAML that describe those things.
Yeah. So these are 2 things. 2 of the things that MuleSoft suggested to add to the spec, and I found them like really useful, because I mean you especially overlays you need it, because at some point you want to change a document, or you want to add information to a document that at the design time this information was not present or was not known, right? And especially if you are if you are a middleware, or if you are a broker, or if you are a proxy, you might want to apply policies that you don't know about these policies at the same time, right? So that's split.
Yeah, and the other thing it lets you do is like a high level, for example, a very expert guy can make 80-90% of the scaffold, and the less technical persona in the company can come and make variations for like different environments like staging, production, QA. They're like minor variations, but the 90% scaffold is pretty much the same. So like overlays will hopefully let you do stuff like that.
Yeah, and same for instance, the common example is to translate the copies in the documentation, right? Like for instance, to translate from one language to another. Like say you want to translate your API to Portuguese, so you apply an overlay where you only modify the descriptions or the documentation, and you put them in Portuguese. So you have the Portuguese guy or the Portuguese folk, let's working on just Portuguese stuff and not API stuff. This person doesn't need to have any knowledge about programming or even AsyncAPI. Cool. So any questions or something that you want to comment?
I just want to say something, Fran.
Yes.
I think it's important to prioritize what we need to do, even though we know the things, right? Because you just created a bunch of tickets in GitHub. Mm-hmm. But, because this is a community effort, we cannot guarantee 100% that we're going to succeed on that, right? So I think it is a good idea to prioritize, because, for example, right now I assign a ticket to myself, but maybe we could start working on something else, right? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I understand, but they are prioritized, actually. That's why we're using SendHub.
Oh, really? Okay. So the priority is the order.
Yeah, they are sorted by priority.
Okay, I did it wrong.
I keep going. Yeah, that's why I keep going after you, and you know, after you, not you, after you all, and saying, hey guys, use AsyncAPI, because there you have more visibility of what's the priority, if something is in progress, or if it's in review, or you know, you have all this data that you don't have in GitHub. See, you know, but yeah, I mean that. So, for instance, for me, AsyncAPI has become the main entry point. And sometimes I go to GitHub just to check if everything is fine from a public perspective. But when I want to understand how the current status of things is, or how it looks, I go to AsyncAPI, so that I can figure out what's going on, what's getting blocked or not, right? So yeah. Anyway, maybe, I mean, it's my fault. I have to communicate these things better. So yeah. Anyone wants to get access to AsyncAPI and doesn't have it yet? I mean, it's
Sure, I would.
Okay. So Michael,
I haven't seen it before. I haven't looked. I mean, I've used Jira and Trello, I know, which are very similar.
Sure.
But do you have to? I guess I just need to go in and create an account and add a link to the project. Is that it?
sorry, say again.
I suppose I just have to go in there and create an account for myself and find a link to your project or something. Is that how it works?
Yeah, you actually sign up with GitHub, so it's with your
okay.
GitHub account. Yeah, it's like GitHub on steroids, if you want, you know.
Yeah, I see. Right. Okay.
It's actually this one. So yeah, here you have the tooling, and there's a workspace for the specification as well.
Okay.
We have it separated, and here you can see very quickly. You can see reports. You have this kind of reports, and so it's very easy to see the progress and to track the progress. I mean, the usual task management application, right? But on top of GitHub issues. So yeah. So I'll invite you later. And anyone else? I think, okay.
Does everyone have the ability
Fran.
to add channels in Slack?
I think so, but I'm not sure.
Okay. All right, I'll try it. Thanks.
Hey, Fran, can you add me as well, please?
Hmm?
Can you? Yeah.
Yes. Praful, we lost you.
Sorry, boss. I'm driving here. Yeah. Could you please add me to the Send Hub as well?
Yes, I'll do.
Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Perfect. You're welcome. So anything else you want to, I mean, questions or anything you want to know about the project? Like, for instance, I know Michael just joined, or Ingo for first time. So whatever.
I think I better read everything first before I ask questions, you know. I mean, I'll read the documentation, you know, get the stuff up and running, and then maybe next meeting I'll have questions or whatever. But yeah, it's too early in the game for me to ask anything.
I understand. Yeah, no worries. So whatever you need at any time, just ping me, and I'm happy to help. I'm happy to do a call, and I can explain. Okay, no problem on this side.
Thanks.
I think Emmelyn, you're mute.
Thanks. I created the doc channel and added Praful and Michael. Thanks.
Thank you.
Okay, good.
Perfect. So so that's it from my side today. That's not much to cover today, and I'm happy because things are moving forward. Most of the job with the spec has been done, and I think we can still make it for KubeCon Europe to announce it. And talking about KubeCon, just came to my mind that yesterday we had a chat, Lucas and Scott and some other people from Kubernetes for Knative about using AsyncAPI for the Knative registry. Well, there's a video that I think Lucas shared on the Slack channel. If you want to see it, if you want to watch it, it's there. But yeah, we're just thinking on how to help the Knative folks with this task on how to register the events and the producers that a Kubernetes cluster may have.
Nice.
Cool. So thanks, folks. Anything else you want to cover? All good? Perfect. So thank you and see you in 2 weeks, unless we chat privately.
All right. See you guys.
Thank you. Nice to meet you all.
Meeting everybody.
Bye.